Okay, we have the welder set up. We know it works. Great. Now, what are we welding? Well, here's what we're welding. This is the Yale 197. This is a rim lock. This client's going to install this rim lock. Here it is. Boom. Locked, unlocked. Okay. This little tang here is called a shutter guard. That shutter lock is there because this little piece of metal is sticking up to prevent it from moving. Into the shutter here is where you'll stick the tail piece. And that's what we're welding. It's because the client has such a thick door. I'm going to put that piece of cardboard back in there to prevent it from locking itself again. The 197 comes with an angle strike. This is meant to be mortised into the rabbet of the frame and into the face of the frame. A bag of screws, obviously. Then it comes with its own rim cylinder because it's a 197. It's a single cylinder. It includes a rim cylinder on the outside. I'm not going to use this rim cylinder. I'm going to send it to the client, but I'm going to use a different rim cylinder. And the reason I'm using a different rim cylinder is because the tail pieces that I stock are Kaba Ilco. I don't know that the tailpiece or connecting bar for this Yale cylinder is going to be the best choice for using a Kaba Ilco cylinder. So I have a typical rim cylinder. This is higher quality because it's solid brass. But I'm going to take this long tailpiece and I'm going to weld it here. That's the concept. And then when we're done, we're going to have a really long tailpiece for the client that will go through his door. The idea now, of course, is to make sure that that weld is really good. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grind the tips of this material so that I can expose the raw steel. And I'm also going to grind very lightly the zinc dichromate off because that plating that's on there, technically it's going to interfere with my circuit. I want clean metal to weld to. No impurities blocking the way. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Let's move to it now. This is exciting.
If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it.
Get that rolling. Yeah, I like that. Nice and straight. Now, we're going to take our C-clamps that we bought. Now, that's all held down. The reason I lifted it off is because I wanted to get my three-way clamps over the edge of it. Let's get that down. A little tweak. We got to add our grounding clamp to the workpiece. That should be plenty adequate. Clamping it there. We're about as set on the work as we can. Appears to be fairly straight. We're going to nip our wire back just a little bit. 1/2 inch. Just going to eyeball that. Good enough. Leave that there. Next thing to do is to turn it on and strike an arc. The top and bottom, and that'll slide out. I'm going to inspect this. We're going to grind that down slightly so I can get it turned over. I'm just going to flatten that just a little bit so I can get it to lay down a little bit. Yeah, we're right here. I don't have great weld coverage evenly on it. I'm going to stay to the left when I flip this over right now. Turn our welder back on. That moved. Oh, no, it didn't. Moved it a little bit. Ouch. Yeah, that's hot. Yeah. Like one of the Elvin Smiths of a Reggaeon. It appears to be reasonably straight. And that looks pretty good. Yeah, no twist in this at all. Nice. Little chamfer. Doesn't matter, the client's going to clearly have to cut that to length. But now we've got a custom tailpiece. It's not super pretty, but it's exactly what the project requires. Small little high spot there, that's all. Alright, I'm done. I'm not getting greedy. This is straight. It has a slight little bow to it. Nothing that what I just did right there doesn't really solve. You're not going to see that as clearly as I will, but that's going to work as a tailpiece. I'll hit that with some prime coat, and we're going to package that up and send it to the client. This job is done.
If you've not hit subscribe yet, we would very much appreciate if you did, and hopefully you're enjoying this video. Now, let's get back to it.
So, here's our tailpiece. This is going to go on to the rim cylinder. There's going to be a C-clip that holds it on. You don't want to lose those. They're a special size. Now, the real drag with doing this work is, and it is a drag. There's your tailpiece. The tailpiece needs to be utterly flat. I mean, really, really good to being flat, because if it's not, then as you turn it, it's going to go oval through your steps. That's what we were making for the client. The drag of this is tailpiece goes in, it's hanging down. When you bring the lock, you kind of have to have this all through the door. This plate will be on the inside, and what you kind of need to do is take the lock body a little lower, get the tailpiece into the shutter, and then lift it up. What they have are cylinder guides. It's basically a bird's mouth sort of prep piece of plastic that will allow you to, it kind of looks like that, that will allow you to, yeah, get it in like that. That's the way that works. Now, the question becomes is how long is all of this? 5 inch? Yeah, plenty long enough. Tailpiece goes in. That's the test right there. Okay, glad we took this step because I've got to get those 832 machine screws for the client. I'm going to verify that they're 1032. I am 99.9% positive that they're 1032. The question is how long do they really need to be? So let's measure that. Yeah, they're going to have to be 4.5 inch. Yeah, that'll be no problem. So let's wrap this video up with showing the conclusion. So, got the mounting plate. These screws fit down really nice. Fit in, no problem. The client may have to cut this, I don't know. So let's take a look at getting this together. If you'll excuse me, I'll just tighten this up on my desk. This is how we're going to ship it to the client. There you go. Be able to thread that in even further should the client need to. But here's a rim cylinder for a unusual door thickness. So at the end of the day, we can provide these. The downside obviously is always going to be the strength of the tailpiece. Now I've got that welded pretty strong. I did not make another one, put it in a vise and then twist it and see how much force it would take. But there's pretty good penetration on that weld. So the weld is good, and when the weld is good, it's as strong as the base metal itself, so I'm confident. But that's it. Took a lot of work just to make that tailpiece. We will have these types of cylinders added to the site for custom door lengths, so you'll be able to find those there. Hopefully this client reaches back out to us and says that it was a smashing success. And if you have any questions on custom door thickness or rim cylinder applications, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.
Thank you for watching, and if you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please subscribe and maybe even send the video to someone that you know. Thank you.